Greetings, Earthlings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm trying to figure out which pair of reading glasses to use. I am Dr. Christopher Vogelmann of drvogelmann.com, and we are promoting our new membership group, which is Courageous Network. And with me, as always, is
John Paduchak. Hey, everybody. JohnPaduchak.com. We just finished the Health Biz Breakthrough, and that's what Courageous Network's all about.
And yet it's still under your name.
I know. I forgot to change it.
This is the Marketing Happy Hour. And with us in our usual weekly discussion on Wednesdays is the famous, the infamous.
Yes. Hello. It's not weekly. It's strongly.
Where did you ever get those strongly
dad
jokes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. I have a friend that is full of those. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I am very excited about the conversation that we're going to have today with these two fantastic dudes right here, because you just ran your challenge, and I want to know what happened, what did you learn, what did you observe, and all of that.
Oh man! First, everything went wrong.
John, everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Will go wrong.
With the possible exception of Canva, because I actually had good luck with Canva this time around.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Well, so let me ask you this question. Was this your first time running a challenge?
Si, senor.
It wasn't.
Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo, by the way. So that's why I say si. So.
It wasn't my first time, but
that's right.
Yeah, because I had the 30-day live video challenge for a while. But it was the first time I have run a 5-day challenge. And it was the first time we put together a funnel for it and products and all of that. So
many first times.
There were a few first times here.
Yeah. Hey, for me, you always remember your first.
Okay.
Are you just going to interview us the whole time?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to bug out of here. This is a discussion, not
questions.
This is a discussion, not an inquisition. I'm just want to make it.
It's an interrogation.
Exactly. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I like to get my head around things. So I always have many questions. So here's my next question.
All right.
True or false?
No.
Oh,
there is no true.
What's everything is true. I did it. Question: 2 things. Okay. What's the one thing that you loved about this whole thing? What's the one thing that bugged you the most?
John?
The one thing I loved about it was our star pupil did all his homework.
He did do his homework. Became the teacher's pet.
Yes, teacher's pet did all his homework. No. So that was good, and I think we got a lot of feedback from different people about the challenge as we went along, which was great. Mm-hmm. I think all was pretty positive. The big thing that I didn't like, I think Dr. V would agree, was that Facebook just let us down every day. So we were trying to use StreamYard, and Facebook was having problems for a week and a half streaming into groups, and it would just figure that
mind you into private groups. See, it was especially private groups.
Yeah, private groups.
Yeah. So you loved the support, but hated the technology, basically.
Yeah, and that's weird for me because technology doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't say I was bothered by it because I'm used to technology failures on a regular basis, and so it wasn't really a bother. I was just trying to figure out, okay, what do we do next? How do we make this work for the time period that we're trying to do it?
Yeah.
And then what do we do and plan for in the future so that if this does happen, we have a quick backup solution. And we kind of, I think the one mistake we made in hindsight is we should have kind of just, when this wasn't working, we should have just kind of abandoned it and switched to YouTube right away. And instead we kept trying it, because that's the well, certainly my nature. I'm an engineer by nature, so I tend to keep trying things.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this work.
Yeah, which is Einstein's definition of insanity. So,
well, I was in a talk many years ago, and the speaker was Guy Kawasaki, and he called it the killer gene. That male of the species, we have it. And we think with more effort and more work and more hours, and we're gonna go get it. We're gonna make it happen. And sometimes we have to know where to hold back, because maybe there is a better way to do it. Like what you just said. Another thing that I just remembered, I was watching an interview with the lead guitarist of ZZ Top,
Nice.
and he was talking about his choice of string. And he always thought that the bigger gauge, the fatter strings make a better blues sound, until he had a conversation with B.B. King, and he had very thin strings. And he said, doesn't it just do that, better sound? And he said, why do you want to work harder? To press the, I want to be it easy and smooth as possible, and you make the music sing. So if that's good for BB King, it's good for us.
Good enough for BB. Good enough for me.
Smooth jazz.
Yes.
It reminds me. So you mentioned Guy Kawasaki. It just occurred to me that I first met Guy Kawasaki in the year 2000 at a Garage.com event, because he was promoting. I guess he was a VC at that time. And I still remember some of the weird things that stuck in my head. Like he said, never trust a partner who drives a German car. So, because apparently he'd been burned by several people who came to him in Mercedes and BMW.
He found the pattern.
I see.
But that was his pattern. So I should say.
Yeah.
I think the other thing he discovered is never wear a tie in front of Richard Branson.
Yeah, because you get it cut off.
I watched Richard cut his tie off.
Oh.
When
That was fun.
Yeah, I was just thinking that because there was a celebration, Richard Branson is doing the Virgin cruises in Italy. They were building one of his ships, and I remember him dancing on a table with one of our friends from Milan who designs cruise ships. That was a weird perspective, because he had his cell phone up and he was doing this, and he was looking at Richard Branson dancing towards him and back away from him.
Wow.
Which was hilarious. Anyway, so enough about famous people who do crazy things.
Enough name dropping.
Yes.
Yeah, but I love the name dropping. Just because I get not so much to impress people, because it just brings back so many fond memories.
Mm-hmm.
So my least favorite part is probably, surprisingly, is not the fact that it did not broadcast within our private group, although that was a major bummer. My least favorite thing was that I couldn't get the right support from ClickFunnels people trying to fix the funnel. And I got different answers from 4 different people, and the final one who gave me the best answers was a fellow by the name of Vlad from St. Petersburg, Russia, who had the smarts to not keep going back and forth in chat with me, but to set up a Google Meet room and then I shared my screen with him, and he advised me to not do several things that were done that I had been advised to do by the previous person who was either in the Philippines or Malaysia. So then
was this a user error, or was it a?
Oh, this was not a user error. This was somebody provided me with a share funnel, a bad share funnel that I then had to retrofit to make it work. And with enough bubble gum and baling wire, I managed to pull it off, and enough support from different people. But I learned a lot in the process. It's just that I invested probably an extra 6 hours that I shouldn't have if I had created the funnel from scratch. So it tells you that sometimes a share funnel could be a shared distributor.
It's like
is a share funnel a funnel that somebody already has, then
somebody else constructed it, and you have the basic template, the outline, and then you just import it into ClickFunnels, for example. Or there may be a share funnel in Groove Funnels. There may be a share in Kick Pages or Lead Pages, any number of these funnel builders. But the share funnel, you're dependent on the idea that maybe the person who's sharing it really knows what they're doing. And this was a trusted source. I'm not going to drop. This is where I'm not going to reveal names, because this is a very good individual, but I think his tech crew let him down in terms of sharing a bad funnel. And so that was a bad experience, let me tell you. But I learned in the process of overcoming the obstacle, I learned more about the elements of ClickFunnels, and in some ways also why I want to switch over more to Groove Funnels. But that's a whole other story. That's the whole techno mumbo jumbo. I think my favorite part of the whole thing, was probably getting feedback, and no more than maybe it was getting the encouragement from other people to keep going, because I would share some of these stories along the way. And there are a couple of MD physician friends of mine would say, good for you, keep going. A couple of non-healthcare providers were very helpful.
Yes.
And John, as always, was helpful. You were super helpful, Kayvon, as an ex-physician, or what would you label yourself as? Previous physician in a prior life, your past life.
I guess that's the most accurate one.
A past life physician.
Yeah.
At the time of Hammurabi.
That's a bit too far back, but right geographical area though.
Sorry, I got the gist of it. Hanging Gardens of Babylon, things like that.
Yeah.
But and I think the other thing that I think that we learned too is that we need to do a heck of a lot more promotion and contact with people. Now, I found that the best way of contacting people for me personally was through direct messages on Facebook, and secondly, LinkedIn. Thirdly was Instagram, but it's only because my Instagram following isn't as big as LinkedIn or Facebook. So,
as in, hey, I'm doing a challenge. Do you want to join?
I'm doing a challenge. You might want to be interested in doing this. And I got some good feedback, but we're focused primarily on doctors and as well as other healthcare practitioners. But the doctors tend to be really busy during the times that we were broadcasting, and many of them, actually 2 of them, just never did their homework, but said they would catch up. But all these recordings that we have within the group are disappearing tomorrow night, so they're going to have to wait.
By design?
Because they want to have some degree of urgency in order to complete the homework. And the more involved, the more engaged somebody is, the more likely they are to go to a subsequent offer that we make at the end, which in this case is the Courageous Network, which is our membership group that we're starting up. So
very good.
Yeah.
I noticed that there were some bonus episodes. Were they by design? Or were you planning for them?
Totally by design. And because the reality is that once people start getting involved and once they start commenting, you want to keep the momentum going. And you keep the momentum going as you open up your cart. We had some delays in opening the cart for purchase of the membership. And we had delays. I mean, for example, we didn't get any of the videos up until John downloaded them in New Hampshire and then put them into the group, into the Health Biz Breakthrough group all at once. And so, and I had several worksheets done, but not all of them. And the worksheets were supposed to be below the video of each day. So it was what would we call this? A cluster something.
Cluster something.
A cluster something.
There is a question in there for me as a person who's interested to do challenges in future.
Yeah.
Is it better for me to run the challenge and conversation on all the same way that you did, but host my videos and homeworks somewhere else? I know members have to deal with 2 memberships.
It depends. No, not 2 memberships. But I mean, so here's the rationale behind the Facebook page or the Facebook group is that so many people are already on Facebook, and it's so easy to bring the comments in and questions and send personal messages and other things. It's actually, once you play around with it enough, it's a fairly easy platform with which to deal. But they keep making changes, and ultimately you want to get those people off of Facebook and into your own membership group, away from it. But the key really there is to capture emails, capture names, and capture telephone numbers if you can.
Right. It is easier to keep them on here than move them away.
Yeah, because they want to stay. It's social. A social network is for socializing. And it would be like saying to somebody, hey, I know this is a great party here, but why don't you leave through the back door here and we'll continue this party elsewhere.
So during the challenge,
come over to my place.
So during the challenge, the social aspect of it overweighs the content delivery benefits.
Not necessarily.
They play with each other.
Right. It's kind of a combination of the two, and they interact with one another. So obviously the social interaction helps, and content is always a big deal no matter where you're putting it. So
content, I was going to say content's only big if they actually utilize the content.
Yeah, right. Right.
Dr. Implementation Coach.
Well, because you were talking about the challenges to upload to Facebook and technical challenges.
I was
thinking if we can bypass that, why not?
Well, but here's the thing. People go where people go. This was given to me many years ago, back in the 80s, by one of my practice management consultants. And because I was choosing amongst different locations to hang my shingle, and I had a location that was right across the street from a major shopping mall in the DC area. And the admonition was people go where people go. So if you have the opportunity to locate next to a major mall with a lot of people, do it. And so I did. And the same thing here, if there's a large social media property where your particular audience or avatar or perfect customer, as John likes to say, gathers, then you ought to locate yourself within that digital environment.
Yes.
And we did find kind of the ultimate workaround, which was putting the videos unlisted on YouTube, which worked out fine. So when the challenge is over, we can still keep them and make them private.
Yes. Well, but we only had a couple of those. We only had like the last 3 or 4.
But what we have, we can do that.
And the solution, the workaround was that because Facebook kept cutting us off at the 2-minute mark, the 6-minute mark, the 7-minute mark. Our longest one at one point was 21 minutes and 42 seconds. How do I know that? Because it's burned into my little brain. And because we continued on after that time. So I tried to get the recordings out of StreamYard, but it turns out that here's another one, that my antiviral, anti-malware software was preventing the download of the videos from StreamYard. And I thought we're going to lose all the videos because the video kept recording, even though we had already been cut off the live stream on Facebook.
Got it. Okay. So, is that glitch with Facebook resolved now, or is it still cutting it off?
Seems to be.
Seems to be fixed.
The last two have been at full length without us having to do that.
So that was temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it came at the wrong temporary moment.
Right.
Well, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong.
That's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, I call it, before I knew there was such thing as Murphy's Law. Or no, actually after, but I call that the of course phenomenon.
The of course.
Yeah, it's like something you want to do and something else happens. Then, of course.
Yeah, of course.
It's gonna happen.
Do you want to know how I follow up with that? My next reaction after that is I show my fist to the sky. Is that all you got?
You can do better than this.
I just raised my blinds because it got darker here. How dare you get rid of the sun? Yes. So anyway, but that was so, and I think in general, the lessons that are learned are that there are always going to be obstacles, and you have a choice to go around them, through them, over them, under them, or put up a little bit of resistance like you would if you're working out with weights and become stronger as a result of it, as opposed to having a weekly program, you have a strongly program.
Cool.
Or weekly newsletter, strongly newsletter.
Yeah. Did you guys have to change anything in the way that you had planned to run your challenge because of technology or feedback from people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you have a plan to get started in the first place?
We did. Did we what?
We actually pivoted a couple times.
Yeah.
I had different slides that were created and or modified in Keynote, for example. Right. And we actually changed the themes. We changed the days. We pivoted from one thing to another. We had a day when we were talking about video marketing, and that was nowhere in our challenge, but we thought that would fit in very well with the bonus that we're offering for the Courageous Network, which is to give people the opportunity to have a full day workshop with us called the Easy Video Marketing Workshop for Healthcare Professionals. Yeah. And that's a $247 course. Well, people who join the Courageous Network for $97 a month get that for free. Whereas other people pay the $247. So,
and Courageous Network is the follow-up.
This is the follow-up group, of the Health Biz Breakthrough Challenge. We keep playing with names, but I kind of like Courageous Network came out of. Actually, I have some T-shirts. Do you have the T-shirts too, John, from Closers Cafe and all that?
Oh yeah, some of them.
Yeah. So they had a hashtag on. Oh, I'm sorry, this is my ManyChat one, but they had a hashtag I am fearless. So I thought, we need an identity. So I wanted to do I am courageous. And say, okay, I'm courageous. What about Courageous Network? Because I was also thinking of Joe Polish's Genius Network.
Yeah.
So so it's just, you hear all these different things and you synthesize it. And my recognition was, even though the one that we had for Ad Lab and Closers Cafe was I am fearless, or one of the things that popped into my head, no, I'm not fearless, because the reality is, if you have courage, you feel the fear and do it anyway. So you have to push through the fear, put through the obstacles, push through all the things that can go wrong and do go wrong. So,
because they will go wrong.
You betcha. Especially in the entrepreneurial world, it doesn't matter if you're online or bricks and mortar. Same deal.
Were you happy with the number of people who joined the Courageous Network after the challenge?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah. And what is it that you want to improve or fix to make that better?
For me, well, I'm not going to speak for John, but I'll speak for me.
Speak for you.
Okay. So for me, it's building a much larger audience in advance of the challenge,
right?
And engaging them over we're only engaging over like a 2-week period, which was ridiculous. Actually, more like 10 days. And instead, I would say, look at a 5 to 6 week campaign, building the audience, engaging with them, paying for boosted posts, Facebook ads, and not a huge budget. I'm talking like maybe $300 for a month.
Yeah.
And in doing that, starting the momentum and the buzz and the feeling that something big is about to happen, but build that momentum over the course of several weeks instead of several days. So it's really audience expansion. To expand our reach, we have to expand the audience.
Yeah, we should have built the group and got email addresses up front and built a list along with it. And we just needed longer to promote it. So
yeah, I mean, I had a tiny list of doctors under 50, and when they weren't under 50 years of age, but they were only, fewer than 50. But I know these people for 20, 30 years or more.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. I sent out one headline when my subject line was "Practice sucks." And what was great is only one person unsubscribed. And I thought, well, okay, I've got my audience still likes me. So
good.
I mean, I think they really understand. I had several telephone conversations and very active back and forth chats within Facebook Messenger, and a little bit on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn still is a mystery to me. So, yeah. Anyway, and we posted banners and things like that. What else do we do, John? We went live daily.
Yep, we went live quite a few times.
We went live today.
Was it at the same time every day?
Yeah.
Usually,
really.
The last 2 days, I screwed up, so I overbooked myself, and so we did one at 10:30 the other day, and then we did another one today at 11, I think. But normally we were 10 Pacific or 2 Eastern every day.
Yeah, my
it's
question
better
was
it's better to have the consistency. Yeah.
On the side of, is it recommended to go the same time every day, or is it better to go different?
Well, it depends. Where is your audience? If it's international, you may want to reach those people in Australia and in the UK and other places, in which case you might want to vary the days, but maybe you have 3 times a week is the same time. And then you have a later one which will catch people in the morning, say on the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
Now, I know for chiropractic marketing, there are chiropractors in the UK and South Africa, all over Australia, New Zealand, and over North America. So there are a lot of English-speaking people within the healthcare professions all over the world. So you have to figure out, where is my audience? Now, for us, it's primarily the United States. So.
Right. But for the next one, I'm sure we'll have some alternate time.
We might. Yeah, because I have 2 South African doctors who were interested in joining, but the time didn't work out. So
it's a big time difference.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for me,
9 hours or something like that.
It's 10 from here, I think.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is 9 now.
I don't know. It's quite a few.
And the same thing, I may wind up with some people from the UK.
And they're 5 hours.
5 hours from you.
For me, yes.
Ocho from me. Anyway. So I think, if you look at the whole thing, there were challenges with challenges, but I think no matter what you put out into the world, you're going to find the same phenomena taking place, the same or similar types of obstacles taking place, whether it's your mindset or the technology, and to a great extent, a lot of this has to do with how quickly can you pivot and how quickly can you adapt to changing circumstances. So you just don't fold your tent and leave town with your head down.
Yeah. So speaking of that, do you think right now is a good time for your target market to run challenges, or is it getting an old tactic?
No, I think it's good.
Oh, this is brilliant. I think it's brilliant,
Great
actually. Right now.
timing. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you really want to get a feeling for what your audience is looking for along the way, and just kind of really get them to know you, like you, and trust you faster, I don't think there's a better way.
Okay.
You
That's
need
good
to
to
get
know.
that dialogue. It's one way to get the
Yeah.
dialogue going. So the
Yeah.
the know, like, and trust, the KLT factor, and know, love, trust factor, it is accentuated by and amplified by daily tasks, familiarity, daily encouragement, and daily celebration of accomplishment.
Yes. Yeah, I find celebrating the wins goes a long way.
Huge.
In any kind of format.
Anything. People want to win. People will do more for status than they will money or anything else. You can give away prizes, but if you give away a badge or or have somebody ascend a leaderboard, they love that stuff. So
They do.
yeah. I'm just checking to see if we have any comments here from the peanut gallery. Not yet.
Do we see the comments in the stream yet? I see a bunch here actually.
Well, actually, yeah, these are comments from the YouTube.
They're all YouTube links.
Well, they're YouTube links because I set it up so that I put it under the announcement, and as a result, that's just in case we went dead in the Book of Faces, that they could find it and click it and come to YouTube where they could see the streaming, and that's based on our experience this past week, or last week, I should say, which was get that. So here's the thing. So the tech fix is you set up the program in StreamYard, your broadcast. To go into your private group, and as John mentioned earlier, you have to set it up in YouTube differently, but you have to click through your channel on YouTube, go in there, click on and say live. It says that you're going live, and the first time I did this, I freaked out. I don't want to go live yet, but it shows you the upcoming live.
Right.
But it also shows that it's public. And as John mentioned, what happens when it goes private?
Nobody can see it unless you give them their email.
Exactly. So we had
it's like getting a Google Doc. You have to have your email.
Yeah. So you have to change it from public to unlisted, not to private, or nobody will ever see it. Right. And then I would take that link, and then you have to come out of it, find the shareable link, pull that link in, and stick it in Facebook. Only because, so if the stream, if the feed actually got interrupted, they could click on the YouTube link and see it still going on live on YouTube, even though it was unlisted. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
the public link, anybody can find it. The unlisted, if they have the link.
If they have the link.
And private, they cannot find it.
Yeah, I call it the screw you link.
Kind of, yeah.
You're never gonna find us, man. So
we're good at hiding.
Well, pretty much, yeah. It's like, you want to be play secret agent, put all your videos as private. Now, then the problem is if you have private links for videos like on YouTube or Vimeo or someplace like that, they can't be viewed in your funnels. So that screws up your whole video sales letter strategy.
But the unlisted will.
Yeah,
unlisted will go, yeah.
Okay, that's very good.
I shouldn't talk video because John's the expert here. So
it's all right. You learned from me.
I learned from you,
Had a good teacher.
and from our friends at where was it? I can't remember. Several other places. Some of the support people actually knew what they were talking about.
Well, that's always good to have a support person that they know what they're talking
Extremely
about.
important.
So how long are you going to give it before you run your next challenge?
Good question. I think we thought about, what do you think? We thought 2 weeks, but we realized that's bumping into Memorial Day and a bunch of other things.
Right.
Also, it doesn't go with your plan as far as building up the marketing part.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because we realized we needed at least 5 weeks or so.
Right. So we'll probably go out the 5 weeks.
I'm thinking June, maybe by Flag Day, which is the 14th. Or maybe the first week in June. But then again, that's my stepson's birthday, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But we'll figure it out. I mean, it's one of those things where we learned so much. We have so many templates in place. We now have the funnels that we need. We can tweak the wording a little bit, the copywriting a little, maybe shoot a new intro video and a welcome video. But other than that, the infrastructure is pretty much in place.
Yeah.
We might even tweak the name of the group. I was thinking instead of health biz breakthrough, it might be, health revenue booster or something like that, because most people in business like to have more revenue. They like to have positive cash flow. And I think that's a great appeal. What they talk about, what are those, the big three: relationships, finance, and health. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think I forget health now that I'm no longer practicing. So.
Yeah, we forgot health for the health biz challenge.
Sad.
Right?
Sad. Well, because I keep trying to. It's funny because my patients, even back in DC, keep following me and asking me for health advice. And hey, I'll pay you for X amount of dollars, for your time. And I'm like, I'm not really that enthusiastic about it. But I think I may eventually wind up with a healthcare type member, with a health information membership. That's quite possible.
Yeah.
I spent so many years. I was certified as a health coach back in 1996, long before the term was cool. And most of my practice was functional medicine once I started diminishing the auto accident and workers' injury cases. So,
So like
you can have more
newsletter or paid podcast.
Oh, it'd be a paid group. Yeah.
Right. Got
Paid
it.
membership.
Yeah. I mean, recurring revenue has its advantages because think about it. If you put all your eggs into one basket and you have one big digital course and you release it, maybe it's $2,000, $3,000, maybe even $5,000. If you have that 2K course, they tend to be only 6 weeks to 8 weeks by and large. And once the course is over, I think some people feel abandoned and they want that continuity of care and of nurturing.
Yeah. Staying in touch.
Yeah. Sometimes people just ask for it. They get to the end of the program. They say, well, what's next? I mean, are you just going to abandon us here?
Leave us hanging?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a cliffhanger.
Which is the, real value and real question.
Right.
Because, I'm guessing everybody has taken a course before, and you realize if there is no connection and continuity, it's going to get forgotten or, get old and that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
And this is up your alley, which is it's the implementation. It's taking the information and actually putting it to use.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many courses I have that have just taken up dust on my hard drive that maybe I did 5%.
We all do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you think about it, you were so excited at the time, you got that adrenaline rush, and more than anything else, you got dopamine, all these feel good chemicals that you've pressed the button, you've paid the money, and you somehow have bought your way into the kingdom of financial freedom. But you didn't do anything. So you get kicked out. Actually, you never got in.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I'm standing today. Anyway,
yeah.
I'm losing. I'm starting to sink.
And we worked lots of connection points into the membership too, which was good. Which was great.
What do you mean by connection points?
Well, we had mentioned that we wanted to have some kind of connection point. We're including Voxer coaching as one of the bonuses, so that we could still keep connected with people if they got stuck in something.
But for the founders only, because Voxer, as we grow, you can't really do Voxer for like 1,000 people.
No.
Yeah. Well, unless it's a broadcast, but yeah.
I think that's the key. And the other benefits too is they get to find out what's working now, because you could create, for example, a Facebook ads course today that would be obsolete in under 3 months.
Yes.
And because technology changes at the speed of technology,
which is faster than the speed of light.
Which is faster than the speed of light in
some cases.
Yeah, it seems like it. Because of all those changes, people really want to know what's working now. In fact, I know some memberships in the creative area, interior design and craft people and others, they actually encourage people to come to a special once a month What's Working Now event virtually. And that's very helpful to people because, we've seen platforms change, like in the our digital agency did a lot with Pinterest, and Pinterest's algorithm changed dramatically. We had to keep adapting and pivoting and going on and on. And as a result, the mix of people that we had diminished in Pinterest and increased in Facebook because we needed to find another source of revenue for the digital agency.
Yep. And then, of course, I just had a new Google change too on top of all.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's another thing. It just another algorithm change. So a lot of content that ranked well doesn't rank quite as well anymore. You know how that works sometimes.
Mhm.
So they just did a content ranking change.
And people are testing and seeing if they pass the new change, and a lot of people just don't, even though they do everything they're told to do. So anyway, but that's some of the things. I mean, and to me, think about the mindset that you have to have in challenges in general. It's true of any business venture, any tactic or strategy that you put out there. You can count on the fact that change is a constant. Well, like we lost Kayvon, for example.
That's a constant and a change. It's a change in the constant.
We're gonna let him in. I don't know. Should we let him in?
Or as we in engineering would say,
so say change is a constant, and you dropped off. So we know that we had to adapt. And I asked John if we should let you in, and he said okay.
That's our
Thank you.
value.
Thank you for letting me back in.
Our K value disappeared.
Yes.
Kayvon disappeared. So
we were talking about technology, and you know how sometimes it fails you.
Technology can fail at the drop of a hat, at the drop of an Ethernet cord. Hey.
Yeah, I learned 2 lessons in mid-90s about how to work with technology, and they haven't failed me. One was, if you guys remember the Windows 3.1 days, and you would get these messages on the screen. So our rule was, if there is one button, just click it. There is no point reading it. You don't have any other option. Just click it. Yeah. If there are 2 buttons, click the left one. If there are 3 buttons, click the middle one. If there are 4 buttons or more, then you can read it. And I did that for years, and nothing ever broke. That was rule number 1. Saved me so much time.
That is bizarre.
I never heard that one. So that's
rule number 2. When you want to work with technology, your live stream, your printer, your fax machine, something that you need to work now, never, ever let them find out that you're in a hurry. They will not go on, or jam the paper, or something will happen.
Oh, the devices! I thought these were people who were lining up to use them.
Never let the devices find out. This is important. Never let the devices find out you're in a hurry. They will stop working.
Yes. Never let them see you sweat.
Yes,
never. So that has been very helpful.
Yeah, so I titled this thing based on the fact that a couple decades ago, I was driving through Costa Rica in a tiny SUV. It was a Suzuki, really tiny SUV. And going through the roads in Costa Rica, there were gigantic potholes, and I referred to them as potholes the size of coffins. Wow. And the goal was to avoid the potholes the size of coffins, because you take a dive in there. Sometimes you wound up in a ditch, stranded at the side of the road, because you avoided the giant pothole only to wind up in the ditch. Mm-hmm. And so I like to think of a lot of the obstacles in the business journey as potholes, but some of them, like we experienced, were potholes the size of coffins, except we didn't die. We may have had our stream cut off. It hurts to have your stream cut off. But we persisted and we found solutions. So
yes.
And it's not like you're going to be obstacle free when you're starting a business.
No, well, actually, the best thing I heard about obstacles is what Mark Ford said to Rich Efron, which was he was saying, "I love obstacles. That's where I leave the competition behind."
Yeah, because they can't do what you do.
Yes, and if you have the habit of just getting over the obstacles, that's where you just turn around and they get discouraged. So one is a matter of ability, the other one is a matter of perseverance. All of those things, they come into the play. They become factors.
Yeah, persevere or die. I used to say also differentiate or die. So like in naming these challenges, I think it's important to kind of break through the fact that there are so many challenges going on out there. In fact, Tony Robbins has a big one coming up this month, and I wanted to make sure our challenge didn't overlap with his, because many of the people with whom I was in contact were definitely fans of his. And I didn't want to say, oh, avoid Tony, come on over here. We're far more interesting, far more engaging. So, and that's, I think, you look at the so-called competition. The reality is that all of us have a different flavor, even with the same set of information, the same principles and strategies and tactics. I can do, Kayvon, you could do Rich Sheffrin's Founders Program or GPS and come up with a totally different flavor. John could do the same thing. I could do the same thing. But it's not so much the information that you present, it's how receptive are you to the information you get back.
You don't even need to be a different person. Like I read a book or do a course a few years later and totally different things I get from it. Or there are parts of the book that I think, where was this the first time? This is the first time I'm reading this.
Right. I have
become a different person.
I have one book in particular that I've read probably, I want to say between 12 to 15 times. And it is a totally different read now than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's really
experience. And what book is that?
It's actually Dr. Thurman Fleet's Rays of the Dawn book. Let me see if I can find it. You talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go to the library.
Okay. and I'm assuming it's a like a fiction book.
No, nonfiction.
It's the laws of the body, mind, and soul. So you might the soul part. Somebody might think.
Right. Yes. Which is interesting. Yeah, I always found that whole idea of, the not being the person that I was before, very fascinating because it has served me a lot in my personal relationships. I always tell people, I have permission to change my mind. You have the same permission too, because there is this, I don't know, weird notion of, oh, you said so 5 years ago, so therefore, no, you know what? That was me 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
I have learned other stuff. I have simply changed my mind. So I always reserve that right for myself and make sure that I always give it to other people because we are different people. But yeah, same content, you take different things from it because you are a different person, which I guess one of the points behind running a business because of the kind of a person that you turn into to run a successful business.
The irony is I don't have a copy of that book here, but I own 4 copies, one in Russian, one in French, and 2 in English. But
what is it called again?
It's called The Rays of the Dawn. RAYSOF, The Dawn. It was published in the 1930s, and it has a lot of actually fairly relevant nutrition, information on exercise. But more than anything else, it's all about managing your emotions and about the evolution of consciousness or the change of awareness as we become more perceptive and more aware of life and all the things around us.
By Dr. Naresh?
Dr. Thurman Fleet, Fleet, not the Fleet enema. So, anyway, I did find his biography though. I did not find that. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. So the biography is in here. He actually survived being gassed and given up for dead in World War I, and he wound up losing 4 out of his 5 lobes of his lung to mustard gas. And had tons of shrapnel at the back of his head and other parts of his body. But that's a story for later. Up until close to the day he died, I think it was in his mid-80s or so, he was still occasionally reaching the back of his head and pulling out little slivers of shrapnel. So you're talking from World War I all the way into the 1980s. So, anyway, but the book is amazing. And in fact, it was Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones needed to heal from some sort of a malady of his. And I remember they said that he took 2 books with him to some little resort or something where he kind of isolated himself in sort of paradise, if you will. He took the Christian Bible and he took the Rays of the Dawn book. Those are the 2 books he took with him. And he managed to, quote, heal himself. So
I got to look into it.
Yeah, you should look into it. Because, I mean, it's more than anything else. Because I was listening to Eckhart Tolle today, and when we talk about reactivity. And so we tend to react to people in situations where we're triggered. And so we have these strong emotional reactions. And Dr. Fleet's whole purpose was to be able to replace one emotion with another to essentially transmute a so-called negative emotion into a more positive expression. But basically just manipulate energy. That's all it is, because emotions are energy in motion.
Sure.
You can take it and reshape it and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, one of my office manager from many years ago, Millie, she had 3 kids. And so whenever they were angry and fighting with each other, she would make them vacuum the house. She said, I had the cleanest carpets in all of Western New York. Because she would just take that anger energy, that rage, and she would have them clean. See? So.
Yeah. I think I learned this in the Unbeatable Mind book by Mark Divine. But it's a technique that I like to use because the explanation is that as far as your body and physiology goes, there is little difference between excitement and anxiety. So your body can't tell the difference much. It's your brain, it's your mind. So you can easily change this one to the other one. So that anxiety is also referred to as having butterflies in your stomach. And the technique is you cannot make the butterflies disappear. All you have to do is make them fly in formation.
Exactly. Yeah. This is so I listened to the audiobook called The Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. I love that book. She describes all the horrendous things that she's had happen to her in her life when she was younger, bad relationships, all kinds of stuff. And one of the things that she talked about, somebody asked her, do you get stage fright? Are you nervous before you go on stage? She says, no, I don't get nervous. I get excited.
Yes.
And that to me was a real defining difference in perception. Am I worried about our challenge? No, I'm excited about our challenge.
Yes. And speaking of stage, we are doing a clubhouse after this, right?
Sure. I think it'll be a short one, probably like a half hour at the moment.
Okay. So if
in fact, you know what I need to do? I need to schedule it right now. I should have scheduled it earlier, but hey, talk amongst yourselves while I go to clubhouse.
We take care of because I thought, somebody maybe some of our viewers are on right now, but if they have to go, they know that we will be on a clubhouse after party. You can right after the marketing happy hour. Marketing hour sounds like a party by itself. So God knows what the after party is going to be like.
It's the marketing happy hour. Actually, we always meet some interesting people in Clubhouse who aren't necessarily here watching live streams, but they're more audio oriented. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm getting more familiar with Clubhouse and that sort of thing. Speaking of Clubhouse, about the bio on the Clubhouse, we cannot update it quickly, right? Every time you update, you have to wait for another month or so to be able to.
No, I've seen him update instantaneously. Is that something? Is it a glitch?
No, what I'm saying is when you change it, if you have another change to apply to it, you cannot do it right away. Can you?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought I was they could. I don't know. I haven't tried
because you guys saw that Sleek Bio app that I was using.
Yeah.
So I thought that could be a good. That's the usage of it, right? That you have that link for
it. Yeah.
And hey, what are we calling this event, by the way? This is real life stuff. The challenge.
The after challenge challenges.
The after challenge.
the after challenge challenges.
The afterglow after the challenge.
After challenge challenges.
John.
After party about after challenge.
The challenge of the challenge. The challenge.
And
challenges with challenges. Let's do that.
So right now, people are getting a real-time view on how do we brainstorm about topics.
True.
This is what happens every time.
You should see half the stuff that goes on with John and I, for the videos that we cut. Oh my God. We actually could put together some blooper reels because they are hilarious.
Some of them are really unbelievably funny.
And some are very politically incorrect.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. There's definitely
that's all the fun of it.
Politically incorrect stuff there. Yeah. That is fun.
I wanted to ask something about the challenges.
Okay.
So I'm guessing different people from different industries are watching this or are going to be on Clubhouse with us. Which market do you think can benefit the most from challenges these days?
Which ones can't?
Oh, there are definitely some that can't.
You mean like a government sewer contractor?
Insurance people.
Oh, insurance. Oh, no, Some
Well,
of the insurance people
actually,
actually
some of it
do
could
education and finance. That's in general.
well, financial education could be
It's
good.
different.
Definitely could be good, but yeah, that's a different topic.
Like get your house in order financially could be a good challenge.
Yeah, I think anything that you've done anybody who's done a course and can take a chapter from that course, a unit of it, and teach it for a challenge to get more interest can do a challenge.
Here you go. Challenge with challenges.
There you go. Challenge with challenges.
I think that's
I
really
should do a screenshot and actually put it up underneath this video too, if you want to join us.
Yeah, if you can take a
That is
freestanding
meta.
unit and teach it.
I'm gonna tweet it out too, so you can always retweet me if you like me.
I think we could do that.
So, am I understanding this correctly? That you can have a course, and either sell it with a discount or give it away for people who come to the challenge to implement the course as you go through it.
Yeah, you could do exactly what you said, but we took what we saw as kind of the standard of what other people were doing for challenges. Usually what we've seen the most of is to actually participate in the challenge can be free or paid. We decided to have ours free.
Sorry, I just pinged you with a link to the challenge, John.
Oh, thank you. If they wanted the recordings were a paid thing, and then we had 2 upsells from the challenge. We had the workshop as an upsell if people got into the workshop, and then we also had, what was the last thing?
We had there was a bump sale to go into laser coaching.
Right. So
what is that?
Explain laser coaching, John.
Yeah, so laser coaching, and I love it. One of my friends does a lot of laser coaching, and I just really enjoy it. I have taken him up on quite a few of his sessions, and what that is that every once in a while you get stuck on something, and you really don't need more than 15 minutes. And so the laser coaching is a 15-minute session, and you come in, and typically there's homework. And if you finish your homework, you can schedule another session. But if you don't finish your homework, you can't schedule another session.
You're still doing that. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's that accountability piece to it, which I really like. So
actually, with one of the companies that I am a member, use their services, I had a short 15-minute, very helpful session today too. So that must have been a laser coaching session that I was on for what I use. So didn't even know it. But
do you pay an annual fee for that?
It's a membership. Yeah, I pay for the membership. It's It's not an annual fee. It's a certain amount of time that I purchase membership. And yes, I had the option to get on a call with somebody in the company and have a conversation. So that's what happened today.
I was like, you should not do these things live. I just sent out the link to one of my friends within a launching group that we belong to, and she immediately started calling me back on Facebook Messenger.
While I got you. While
you're live. Dustin, I can answer your question here if you'd like.
Why don't you ask it here in the comments?
Yeah. It's like when I do a group, how whenever I'm having like a meeting or a group call in our local marketing strategies with Ed, because Ed actually answers some of his live lead calls. And so all of a sudden his phone started
during the broadcast?
During the broadcast.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. That's awesome, actually. Just watch how I book this guy.
It's hysterical. Hey, wait, I gotta grab this. Keep up the conversation.
Well, you're grabbing something now too. I'm grabbing.
No, I'm saying Ed.
Oh no, he says
Ed will do the. Oh, I gotta get this. Hang on.
I thought you were going to leave us right now, John, for another call.
No. So he might actually answer a call live during the thing, which is kind of funny.
That is great.
Yeah,
I love that.
It shows he's a busy guy. His phone is like ringing.
Yeah, and was it one of you guys that you were talking about side coaching?
Yeah, I was talking about the side coaching.
Yeah. So when we watch somebody else is being coached, we also learn a lot.
Yeah, and that's why people think you really want the penultimate thing is to have one-on-one coaching. The reality is when you it's almost like having a mini mastermind as a group coaching where you hear things from different people, different perspectives, and instead of being an echo chamber, you really open up your perception to the possibilities.
You do indeed.
Yeah, makes sense a lot. So I got the link, Chris, and I tweeted it as well. So
tweet it. Tweet me right.
It's out there.
It's out there.
Yeah, I like this option of sharing in Clubhouse that I can just tweet it with one click, and then I copy the share and put it on Facebook.
Well, the other thing you can do also is just to retweet the tweet that I just sent out. If you want to tweet me right.
Yeah, I want to, but I don't think I'm following you on Twitter.
Right.
You gotta tweet me right. Tweet me right, baby.
Tweet me right. Yeah.
So that goes out there. So in fact, we're 5 minutes away. We're going to start at 4 on Clubhouse.
Nice.
Let me see. So I invited a few people. I decided to invite you, Kayvon. Just
thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
So nice of you.
I'm feeling magnanimous today. So.
That's so good.
I just retweeted you as well.
Yeah, retweet, baby. We're going to increase reach. The funny thing is, I've had people, David Amerland, whom I've known for many, many years. You probably know him too through the Google Hangout days and Google Plus days, John, as he's drinking his water.
I have him on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I am on Twitter too, and he retweeted our Clubhouse thing, and he retweeted one of our announcements, which I thought was just very generous.
And he replied to something.
Yeah, he replied. He even used one of them. He even said, "Don't miss out on this."
Wow, endorsement.
Yeah. Whoa. Hello.
That's the local news.
Anyway, we're all playing on our phones right now, so don't mind us. We'll Clubhouse shortly. I wanted to put the link below our live right now.
It's crazy the stuff that's on our phones now. It's like, forgot to silence this.
I think I need to silence just about everything that's here right now. Boom, 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 boom. I like my title, How to Avoid Coffin-size Potholes on Your Business Journey. I was getting creative with my copy today.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna say that I understood it, but I said, okay, I guess that makes some sense.
Well, it was just I had to give you the context, which was driving through Costa Rica with giant potholes, and you go, do I avoid hitting the truck that's coming towards me? Do I then go into the pothole, or do I go into the ditch at the side of the road? So the truck collision wasn't an option. The pothole didn't look pretty appealing to me, so I went for the ditch on the side of the road. So
good choice.
On the journey, yes, on the journey. Of course, the entire vehicle was tilted like this to one side, and it had to shift weight very carefully to be able to pull the vehicle out of the ditch, or the whole thing actually would have toppled. And it was close to sunset, so that's all those exciting adventures. All those factors come together to create a mega obstacle. So,
well, I'm just glad that you left the pothole.
I did. I decided not to go into the Coffin-size.
Save the pothole. Hashtag
save the whales. Save the potholes. We don't want to damage any potholes. So.
No.
Yeah, that reminds me of this friend that we had, and big dude, and we heard he was in a car accident, and we were worried about the car. Is the car okay? Is the driver okay?
We were worried about the car.
Worried about the car.
Yeah. Because he's gonna be okay, we know that. But is the driver of the other car okay? Yeah.
Oh, there's a delay. I heard there's a car accident came here again. I'm just trying to put the link in down here.
In what?
I'm pasting the link. So here's our broadcast. I was pasting the link to Clubhouse under our broadcast. The only problem is I had my volume up.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah. Silent everything.
There's some interesting captions, but they're all going over Kayvon's face.
Well, thank you very much.
That's something I hadn't anticipated.
Yeah, I'm used to that. There we go.
See?
I speak, I am covering my own face.
Your face is full of captions.
Story of my life. Okay, so it's we're at top of the hour, so
it's a wrap. Anything to say?
It's a wrap,
Gentleman John.
No, I'm good.
Well, I know this talk and discussion about challenges was very educational for me, so I can only imagine that, how.
And it was very painful for me.
Yeah, and me as well. But that's all right.
Okay, I'm sure there's a bad joke in there somewhere, But
No,
let's get on Clubhouse and carry out this conversation over there.
Because I'm all by myself there right now.
Yeah, I am coming. I'm joining.
Come on in.
See you in a minute.
Bye. We'll see you
all
next
in
week.
Clubhouse.
Next week, if it's 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on a Wednesday, it's time for the Marketing Happy Hour. And we'll be back. If you have any questions or comments, enter them below this video wherever you see it. We'll get pinged and we will answer or maybe even